Hi, this is Jesse Linares, Skills Up Ambassador and Sanvia Art Team member. The video you're about to see is a pre-recorded live stream that we did for our Sanvia partner schools. Now, if you have a school and you'd love for your students to use Sanvia tools and gain access to exclusive education opportunities just like this one, then click the link in the description below. So make that your priority, make your education your priority today, and ask those questions in the chat. You know how we do. We'll bring them live to Sam and he'll answer them for you live and in the moment. So without further ado, let me bring him to the stage, Mr. Sam Villa.
Morning, Jesse. How are you, my friend?
Doing good, sir. Great to have you once again. Everything looks awesome in your room, and I know you've got a lot of great content for us. So I'm just going to get out of your way, brother, and let you have at it.
All right. Great to see you too, by the way. Hello, everyone. You know what to do. I see you're involved in the giveaway already. I love that. Teachers, you know what to do. Just give me a number. How many students you got there today? I think right now, gosh, who was it? It's, hey, Buffy. Looks like Buffy Leonard, yeah, Twin City Beauty College and in St. Joe's. And then we also have Michiana Beauty College in Granger, Indiana. Welcome. I'm so excited that you have so many students there. Today is all about the art of blow drying. I'm talking about finishing. It is critical. I have to say that the finishing has become just as valuable as the haircut, especially behind the chair in today's world. It's really, really something. The blow dry is back. The haircut made it come back. The blow dry is back. Everybody start talking about old money, these big blowouts and bombshell blowouts and things like that. So the value of it today really exists. So what I want to do is focus on the fundamentals and give you some just ideas and some ways that are just going to open your eyes up and just open your hands up and open up inside here just to see blow drying a little bit differently. First of all, let's start with something, and that is I want to give you some principles in regards to blow drying. So follow me to the board here. The first one is there's got to be a vision. So you have to have a vision in regards to what's the end result? What's it going to look like? That's what you need to do is figure out, okay, what kind of fabric am I working with? What are they asking for? What's the end result look like? Like today, I'm going to do like a little bombshell blowout. I've already got half the head done. You can see here, you're seeing this a lot. And I want to show you how to go through it and really easily work with this and how to get this whole kind of butterfly blowout or a bombshell blowout, if you will. But it's about the vision. So you have to see it first. I have to say, it's really about what separates the good hairdresser from the great hairdresser sometimes is not technical skills, but visual skills in terms of how you see things. Once you develop vision, then the hands will follow. I want you to remember that. So pay close attention to that. So once you start to work with vision, it's about, okay, what method? Like, for example, I want to achieve this blowout here, for example. So I look at that, I say, okay, am I going to achieve that? For the first thing I need to do is figure out, okay, what tool am I going to need to do that? So with me, when I look at this, I'm saying, okay, I'm probably going to need a couple tools, probably a flat brush, maybe to get the moisture out. And I'll talk about that versus hands. Or I probably definitely looks like I'm going to need a round brush. So my tool of choice is going to be a round brush. And then the next thing I need to think of when we do this is you got your vision, okay? Then you've got your tool. The next thing you need to think about, what method are you going to use? Today, I'm going to use a particular round brush method. I'm actually going to be twisting as I move away from the head with the hair and the brush. That's going to allow it to cool down in terms of the shape and the volume that I'm going to desire at the end with my vision. So the method I'm going to work with is going to be round brush method of blow drying, and you'll see how that works. It could be a flat wrap. Flat wrapping is making the hair much more straight and just using the head as a roller and flat wrapping around that. I'll demonstrate that. But my method I'm going to use is going to be a technique of working with round brushes, and we're going to talk about that today. The next thing I need to be aware of is I know how I want this to look, okay? I know how I want that to look at the end, but what do you think is the next one? See if anybody in there can put it in there. What's the next thing I need to be? It's probably the most important. I always say it's not an option, it's a necessity. Does anybody know? Teachers, see if anybody knows what the next one would be. Right under vision. I've got my tool. I know what I'm going to use. I know the method. I'm going to work with a round brush. I'm going to use techniques with a round brush. And nobody's got it? All right, I'll give it to you. It's called product. Okay, product is not an option. It's a necessity. In order for my blow dry to be successful, I have to understand product. Now, one of the ways that I'll do this is in the consultation process. I will ask the client or the guest, are you using a mousse, lotion, or a gel? If they're using a mousse, that automatically tells me they want volume. If they're using a lotion, they want it touchable. They want it to move. If they're using a gel, they want it to hold. They want it to be stiff. They don't want it to budge. So that's a great question to ask in regards to that. Vianney, Vargas, style is in there. That would be method. That's going to give me my vision. So style would fit in vision and method. Remember, so it's vision first. What do I want my end result to be? So now product. Product, how does that work, Sam? Product is not an option. It's a necessity. So you need to decide what product are you going to use before I start blow drying? And I just gave you an example of that. Is it a mousse, a lotion, or a gel? Based upon the end result, that's going to allow you to choose what product you're going to work with. Based upon the envision, based upon the texture of the hair. So I would say inside right here, you're going to ask yourself, what texture of hair am I working with? Because that's going to affect the method, and that's going to affect the tool that I'm going to use. Teachers, if this is making sense so far, just write the word yes in the chat. I just want to get a tipper check where we're at. Product before, and guess what? Product after. So I'm working with product before and with product after, meaning I'm going to want something to add maybe some shine, add some hold, like a hairspray or something like that. All right, so now let's get on with this in regards to our method. Now, what type of brush am I going to use? Round brush. I've got all kinds of round brushes I can use. Let me give you two examples here, okay? Here's two examples, okay? This is a thermal brush. This conducts a lot of heat because of the core of what it's made of. This is a boar bristle with a thermal core also, but boar bristle and little nylon bristles, okay? Those are for detangling and helping you to kind of pick up the hair. Boar will smooth it. So now, can someone tell me in the chat, okay? Can someone tell me in the chat, which brush do I use for what? Come on, somebody tell me. What do I use a thermal brush for? What type of texture of hair would I use a thermal brush for? Okay. What type of texture of hair would I use a boar bristle brush for? Okay. I know I'm going to give you the answer if you don't give it to me. It's not coming in the chat. All right, I'll give it to you. Density and curl pattern. Yes, Jennifer, I see that. Okay. Density and curl pattern. I would probably use this brush so I stretch out. I want my boar bristle. Anytime I have medium to coarse texture, I will pick up a boar bristle. I will not pick up a thermal. Thermal is conducting too much heat. Thank you, Jen. You're actually right, Jennifer. Absolutely right. Good to see you, Jennifer, or good to hear your little voice there. Okay, boar bristle. Yeah, for smoothing. See, this will smooth and give me more polish. This will conduct more heat. So I love using this for fine, medium to fine hair is what I'll use this for. So what I'm trying to tell you, students, is don't fall in love with one brush. Understand the value and the reason. If the why is understood, the how is much easier. So understand the why behind the brushes, then you'll know which brush to pick, okay? Now, because of what I'm looking for, I've got medium to fine texture, I'm gonna work with a thermal. And then I might come in with my boar bristle afterwards to add a little bit of polish. Now, what's the next thing I need to be aware of? The method, okay? So I've got my tool. I've decided I'm going to use thermal. Now, what method am I going to use? First of all, I'm going to section. And the reason I'm going to section is for more control. But I have moisture. So let's think about this. I'm looking for body. I'm looking for some volume. And I'm looking for movement. The brown brush is going to give me both. Yet, what I do not want to do in this case is pick up a paddle brush and start stretching this out. That's going to give it too much stress. What I'm going to suggest we do is apply our product. I'm going to go with Redken 1 United, okay? Look at how I'm going to use the length of the bottle to determine how far away I'm actually misting it. This is a great suggestion that I would use in my consultation when it comes to product. Let me set you up and say this. It's misapplication of why a client doesn't like a product. Okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to use some of our, where is it? Come on now. Here we go. Some of our root lifter, because I want volume and I want a little bit more kind of volume basically throughout. I'm going to use my root lifter. Now watch this. I'm going to shake this, and please do not be afraid to overuse this. It's amazing when we use this, people are like, oh my gosh, Sam, that's quite a bit that you're using, okay? And what I'll do is I'll section this in areas. So I'm going to section the top and the side area first, and now I'm just going to apply and work that through. Okay, so I like to apply in sections. And the reason I apply in sections is because I control my application a little bit easier. Now watch, I'm going to come to the back. So I went to the side and the front. Now I'm going to come to the side and center back. Okay, and going to apply product here. Now there's more hair there, so I want more product. Okay, I'm serious, you just cannot over apply this. It's just amazing. You should see how much we actually use in Fashion Week. When we're working Fashion Week, it's just amazing how much. The next thing that's critical is I like using a vent brush so I don't stretch it too much and just brushing the product through. Okay, making sure I get my product evenly distributed. Remember what I said, it's misapplication of a product by a client might not like a product. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come through and I'm going to section. So I've done my product. I've got my before product. I know where I'm going. I got my tool. I know the texture I'm working with. And now I'm going to go through and section. Now watch how I'm going to section this. Think about the end result you want. Let the section apply to that. So now I know I'm going to want this hair moving back. So that's diagonal moving back. So I'm going to come into the nape area from the ear to center back. I'm going to section diagonally. Okay. And I'm sectioning for control, but watch as I work up how I'm going to control the hair. Now let's talk. Round brush and now blow dryer. The concentrator or the nozzle is critical when we blow dry. This is critical. If I use without a nozzle, that's because I'm going in and I want to blast dry fine hair. So if I have extremely fine hair, I'm going to go in and I'm going to blast dry it. And the reason I'm going to blast dry it is just so I explode that cuticle. Then once I blast dry it and have it out, the 80% of the wetness out, then I'm going to apply my mousse for fine hair. I'll use my root lifter. And the reason I'll use a mousse is because I want that volume. Most people with fine hair want volume. So I'll apply that when it's 80% dry. Then I'll pick up a round brush and start working with it. So blast drying with fine hair is great, 80% dry, apply your product, then go in with your round brush, okay? Remember, fabric tells you what to do based upon the result. Here, I'm going to apply my concentrator. Now, watch how I'm going to move this concentrator around. I'm not going to hold it just like that. I'm going to place my arm, look how I'm going to secure my arm against my elbow, against my body. Then I take the blow dryer and I just kind of like shift it. See, I hold the nozzle. Now I'm in a strength position. So take a look at how I have my arm positioned. See here where it's positioned? Look where I have that position. Now it's much easier for me to dry. And look at how now, if I show you the nozzle, look how it's on a diagonal. See, if I have it here like this, I'm going to be using too much of my wrist doing this. What I want to do is think about the movement and think about the strength I want. See, so that's where that nozzle needs to be stable, but I'm going to move the handle so I'm comfortable. Okay. Teachers, if this is making sense, please put a yes there. Okay. Let's blow dry. First thing I'm going to do though, is I'm going to take it on low speed and I'm just going to work with my hands. I'm going to get the moisture out first in this section. Okay. Then I've got, see how I still have some of that body? Now I'm going to come in and now I'm going to stretch and give it the smoothness and the polish that I want. Look at my pinky. See how my pinky holds that? Because I want to hold that. I don't want to just release it from the brush. If I don't hold that, what happens is it's starting to cool down. It's going to start cool down up and it's going to flex up. I want this to have a nice smooth polish. See how I control that? Now look at the nozzle. Look where it's placed. Can you see where that's placed? It's placed on the opposite side of the dryer. Let me show it close. Look where I'm at. See where that nozzle's at? Look how I'm placing it. Most people would place this nozzle right on the brush like this. I want you to remember, work with the cuticle, the grain of the cuticle, and smooth it and polish it. So look how I'm working with the grain. See that? I'm not here, there, I'm here on the outside of that brush. So I get all the flyaways to bend. Now I roll through. Now I can come around the brush, roll out. I'm exposing or maximizing my heat. Now watch my pinky come in, stretch. Look how I stretch that. Come in. See, that's going to give me control. Now watch it. Watch the brush now. I'm going to twirl out because I want this to maintain. I want the curl to maintain. See how I roll out? I come back in. Now here we go. I'm good. Okay. Allow that to heat. Now watch me point the top of the brush to the head and roll. Apply heat. Point the brush to the head and roll and apply heat. And you can stretch. See, I'm stretching. Roll, point, roll, apply heat. And now release. Do not bother that. What most people will do is they'll start playing with that section, and what happens is you start to lose what it is that you just put in. See how nice I got that? That almost looks like I did that with a curling iron. Okay, now I take my next section. This time I'm going to go from the top so I get a smooth gather here of the section, especially with these face framings that we're doing. I'm going to take, see how controlled I am? I take a section. That's a diagonal back section. That's going to be to set me up to place in my brush at that same diagonal back. So you can see how that's a curved diagonal back moving back. Now watch how I'm going to work in a controlled fashion. So I'm going to work with that back first. So I'm just going to take this section. If you don't control the hair, I guarantee what's going to happen is you're going to be blow drying it by accident. And when we do that, you're going to frizz it. And when we frizz it, what happens is you have to work twice as hard spinning that brush to calm it down, that frizziness. Once again, I've applied my product. I'm going to take my dryer and I'm just going to work with my hands. Notice how I'm taking that section and not disrupting what I've done down below. Notice how I'm working with the grain of the hair. The dryer is pointed down with the grain. I'm not stretch drying it. I'm just grabbing, just getting my moisture out. When I feel my moisture's out, now I come through. Look at me control the section. I come through. Look at the angle of my brush. It matches that diagonal. Now I come through. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab with my pinky and I'm going to come in and I'm going to stretch right at that base. So I want you to think about inside out. Inside is zone 1 of the hair shaft. So when we talk about the hair shaft, you've got the inside. The inside is base, then you have middle, and then you have ends. Look how I'm focusing right now on my base. See that? Look at my thumb, how my thumb grabs the hair, wraps around the brush. This is going to give me tension. See how I've got that hair on my thumb and index? This is going to give me tension. If you have good fundamentals, you're going to save yourself blow drying time, blow drying. Slow down to speed up. Look at how I'm just wiping that dryer right down with that cuticle. Now look at my pinky, control that. Now I'm going to start to roll. Look at me roll. Roll. Watch my pinky control. And I stretch. Pinky controls and I stretch. Okay, now watch me roll. I want to keep the top of the brush exposed. Do not allow the hair to come over it. Why? When you spin out, you're going to have much more control of your spin. Now I'm focusing on heating that section. And I want you to notice I'm drying this on low heat. It's not high speed. So when we dry with our hands, it's uncontrolled. But you get a much more natural tousled effect. Your hands are a tool also. Ready to spin? I'm ready to spin. Making sure my inside is nice and smooth. Now watch me spin, wrap, and hit with a dryer. Stretch, spin, wrap, come in. Look, see how I do this in a controlled fashion? Stay controlled. Now see how I got that? See, I've got that one. Now notice how I've got the two sections, how they're separate. I'm keeping them separate. Look at me move to the front. So I'm going to move to the front now. Okay. First thing I need to do, I've got my product. I know that. Take the section. Notice how I control the section in my hand. And I take the blow dryer and I work down with it, down with the cuticle shaft. I'm not coming up and against it. That's going to frizz it. Okay. And notice how I'm on low speed when I do this. I don't want to be necessarily on high speed. I want you to hear, but even in a salon, I would do this on low speed. Why? Because it's just a section of hair. It's not the entire head. What I would prefer to do is section this and do this with my hands. Rather than some people, they don't section, they come in and they're doing this to the whole head. What you're going to do is create a little bit more flyaway, more frizz. Now you're working twice as hard to calm that frizz down. Meaning you're spinning, you're stretching. Okay, good. I've got my my 80% dry, come in with the brush. Watch again now. Watching the fringe, it's curtain fringe. Look how I take it, I roll. Let me stretch and roll. Okay, I think about what I want this curtain to do. Okay, look how I'm going to roll with the brush. Now watch me adjust, take it under. I'm working with that fringe. Now watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the fringe and I'm going to lead it the direction I want it to go. Look at the brush going vertical. And I'm just leading this. See, I got that already bending this way. So instead of me just coming here, I like to do both. Take it under and take it back. Okay, now that taking it back gives me a little bit more kind of that whole curtain kind of appeal to it. Okay, now watch me work down the section. Look how I'm controlling the section with my hand. Make sure you brush through each section before you start to blow dry. There's my thumb. Look at that thumb. Go high speed. Look at me rake, 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 rake without burning the client. Okay, we're going to watch the pinky come in and control. Okay, that allows me to go down that hair shaft. Make sure you're able to smooth through that section before you start drying. Now I'm coming through. Okay, working on, make sure my angle is correct. Look at that diagonal. Don't start to flatten it out. If you start to flatten it out, you're not going to have a smooth transition from one section to the other section. Okay, now watch me just start to wrap, wrap, wrap. See how I stretch and spin. Stretch and spin is going to give me that smoothness. Don't go above. Keep that top of the brush exposed. See, I don't have hair overlapping that. When we have hair overlapping that, when you go to spin, it's just going to make it more difficult. I roll back out, getting my maximum heat. Just getting maximum heat, rolling back out. Now when I feel I got a maximum heat, I'm ready to spin out. Point to the head, half rotation. Hit with heat. Okay, now watch. Point to the head, half rotation, hit with a heat. Stretch, stretch, stretch. I just like stretching these ends just a little bit more when I get to the end. Coming back through, continuing to take sections. Sam, are your sections pretty consistent? Yeah, I try to keep them about an inch in this particular case, but it's really going to be based upon density. What's the density? Can you say happy birthday to one of the students? Summer. Hey, Summer, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Summer. Happy birthday to you. Hope you enjoy your day. And thanks for being at school. You could be someplace else, but you're at school. You better be at school. Will you be at ABS Chicago? Oh, Camille. Yes, I will. Please come and see me with Christopher Benson. I'm collaborating with Christopher Benson. The art team won't be there, but I will be there. Collaborating with Christopher Benson. We're going to be in a classroom number 48, I believe. But make sure you check the app, ABS app. Is this method still okay with a client that has chemical damage to the hair, or would it be use less heat or a different method? I would use this method for someone that has chemical damage, but the product that you apply to it, like I might apply maybe a leave-in conditioner. I would apply that over one United. Then I might apply my mousse over that so that you get a little bit more buffer. There's a great product that's out. This is one that's called Hair Bandage Balm. It's really fantastic. I'm finding it fantastic. Let's see if I can get that. Yeah, I'm finding it fantastic for hair that's exactly that. It has a lot of chemical damage to it. But you certainly can, yes, you certainly can go in and do this particular method with hair that is chemically damaged or highly bleached. But you're going to do a lot more work on that type of hair. I find I work harder in stretching it, and I'm spinning more and stretching and smoothing. Remember, the spinning, the stretching, and smoothing is what actually gives you your smoothness and your polished effect. And I would probably, if that type of hair, be using more of a boar bristle brush. And the reason being is I want to close that cuticle down. Okay? So remember, that was a great question because the texture, chemical damage alters the texture. Anytime you go in and you highlight hair, you're altering the texture of the hair. So be aware of that. Okay, once again, going in, look how I'm working down with that cuticle. Once again, working with my fingers, not really pulling on that hair, going to maintain some of that body, natural body that it has. But at the same time, I'm going to stretch. Now here comes with the brush. I'm going to start to just come through, stretch, stretch. Notice how I take the brush. Watch me come out of the brush. Look how I go vertical and I stretch. Okay, now I'm ready. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is get that scalp. Look at the angle of the brush. The angle of the brush matches that sectioning. Diagonal back, more rounded, going back. See how I'm holding that with my thumb in a stretch state? What that does is by me holding it this way, it's going to keep this nice and smooth. So I want to get this area right here. I want to get that nice and smooth. Angle my brush, stretch, let it dry in a stretch straight. Okay, watch my pinky come back through, gather. Start to stretch, watch my pinky grab. Notice I'm not grabbing any of that underneath that I have already dried. I'm not getting it. Okay, stretching. Now watch, I'm ready for my roll. Look at that dryer, look where it's at. See that dryer? It's not right here directly on the brush. You gotta remember, my friends, when you put that heat directly on the brush, you're gonna ruin your bristles. I don't care what anybody tells you. The bristles don't melt. Eventually, over a period of time, imagine using the same brush for years, eventually it's going to melt. Just taking a look at my inside. Remember, inside versus outside. Inside is those details inside. Okay? That's what's going to give you your support. That's what's going to give you your volume. Think about on base, half base, over directed base. Think about what's the vision, what's the result. Think about the areas too in terms of where you're working. Like you can see right behind me on that board, I've got crucial drying areas. And if you notice, most of those areas are where the volume is desired, where people want a lot of volume. Okay, coming through. Watch me stretch. See how nice that is? I can stretch. Watch me start to release. I need more heat. More heat. Okay, now let's allow it to just sit there for a moment. Watch me take, notice how I'll control my dryer here. Sometimes you don't need it. Take it away. Watch, I'm going to turn to the head and rotate. Bring the dryer back into play. Stretch, stretch. Okay, turn. Point the dryer to the head shape and rotate. Half a rotation, stretch, and turn. Now watch how I will ignore that section and I come to the next section. So you can see as I'm going through, and if you look at this, it's almost like I've used a curling iron. One of the things that's been a big learning curve for me is allowing things to be. Stop going back in there and admiring your work and start playing with the hair and fluffing it. When you do that, you're just disrupting what you just put in. Remember, the moment you start stretching or doing something different with it, it's going to start to cool down in that state, or you're making it softer. You're weakening what it is that you put in. Okay? 80% dry. Good. Now, round brush. Coming back in. Sometimes when I want volume into the top area, I'll use a much smaller round brush. Sizes of brushes are great. I find now, in order to get that volume, I'm not picking up the same brush on top. I'm using a smaller brush. And what we've discovered by using a smaller brush, there's ways that we can manipulate that brush to give us a little bit more volume in certain areas. So I suggest students what you do is whenever you have time, remember, there's no value in the break room. Get out of that break room. My suggestion would be grab a mannequin and start practicing with a brush and a blow dryer. Don't even turn the blow dryer on. Don't worry about how it looks. I want you to get used to working with a brush and a blow dryer together and then coming back in with your hands and controlling the section with your hands. Practice, practice, practice is what's going to create a great hairdresser. So it's about doing something over and over and over again until eventually you can do it and it's not a problem. You're not stressed out. One of the first times when I remember when I blow dried, I was so stressed and the teacher just came up to me after. She said, Sam, all you have to do is just practice more. Your hands are not working with the blow dryer. And once I did that, it was amazing what happened in terms of my learning experience and how much blow drying became much easier for me. So students, it's about practice, practice, practice. Notice how I just, even this is short. Look how I just turned out that section right there and not bothering anything, leaving everything alone. Continuing to the top. See here, I could get greedy. Look how much I have on the top. Don't get greedy. What do you mean, Sam? Well, you want to get to the end because you're so proud of what you're doing. But once that happens, now you've really adjusted what you're doing on top. You're adjusting it, and it's not going to have a nice equal balance to it. See how I control that section and the hair? Now I'm going to come through. Let's just kind of get the tangles out of that. Okay, I got the tangles out. Now I'm going to pick up my blow dryer, keep that section in my hand, and now once again, coming down with the flow of the cuticle. Working with the flow of the cuticle. Okay, let's talk about brushes. There's all kinds of brushes. You've got a vent brush. A vent brush is exactly what it is, if there's a vent in it. And this would be an example of a vent brush. See that? I love using these. I'll show you an example. I love using these, a vent brush, for volume. I love using it to create volume, to create more direction, if you will. Okay? Look how I just use my hand. All I'm going to do is just get this section smooth. See, I'm just trying to get my brush through that. Okay, once I got my brush through it, now it's time. Okay, stretch. See, I stretch. See, I stretch and roll. Stretch and roll. This is making it polished. This is giving me my polish. I'm going to stretch that top. Notice how I stretch. I hold into a stretch position. Okay, come through, come through, come through. Watch me roll out of this, spin out of this. I will spin out even out of that short little piece right there. Now I want this to have direction. I'm going to just camp out on that just a little bit more. Heat is a valuable tool to us. Heat is one of our most valuable tools. It is our best friend, but is our best friend only when we are in control. If we are not in control with heat, it's not going to be your friend. So I'm going to encourage you. It's so important. Practice, practice, practice. Learn what heat does to us. Like I know some people, they'll say, well, Sam, that blow dry doesn't look right. They'll go back in, pick up a brush and a section, start blow drying. But in order to change it, you have to moisten the hair down. It has to have some moisture to it. Therefore, you change the bonds in the hair by wetting it first and then going back in and readjusting the movement, the position, the volume. But you've got to wet that hair slightly down to readjust those bonds so you can take it the direction you want to take. Okay, look at my sectioning. See how systematic that is? How I stayed in control. Now coming through on this side, just to that center. This is my last section here. Okay. Now watch. See how I'm tangled? So what do I need to do first? Once I'm here, before you start smoothing, make sure their tangles are out. My tangles are good. Now watch how much easier that runs through that section. Okay. Look how I'm just applying my heat. One of the things I want you to be aware of, blow drying takes patience. Slow down to speed up. The more you practice, the quicker, the better you're going to get. But don't expect things to happen perfect the first time you go at it, students. It took me a while to get comfortable working with a blow dryer and a brush. And I highly recommend that what you do is you learn how to work with both hands. Watch. If I'm on this side, which I've dried already, look how I switched the blow dryer to my left hand and the brush to my right hand. So I want you to understand something. Now is the time to develop both hands. Don't wait. Don't wait. While you're in school, do it. Why, Sam? Can you imagine if I'm here on this side and I'm trying to blow dry this? Look how my position of my body. Look at the position of my body. See how it's just awkward. So what I want you to do is, when you're not doing anything at school, walk around with the blow dryer in your left hand. When you're at home, pick up a blow dryer, sit down on the sofa, put it in your left hand. Eventually, it becomes comfortable in your left hand. Brush in your right hand, and see how much easier it is for me ergonomically to blow dry this. So highly recommend you work out with both hands. What are some tips for getting no frizzy hair? Control the airflow. Control the airflow. Watch. I see so many people come in and they'll blast dry this. They'll put it on high and they'll just go like this. What you are creating is frizz. That's because you're not controlling the flow of air. So what I mean by control, look how I controlled it with the flow of air going with the cuticle. Even when I was coming underneath, I was going with the cuticle, with the direction of the cuticle, the scales of the fish, the shingles of a home. So I flow down with the scales of the fish or the scales of a home. So it's the same thing here. When you have frizz, you have to understand, Molly, that you are going to have to work twice as harder. So you have to focus on each section. You have to focus on that section. So that's really important when you're doing that. Remember that. How do I make this style not go flat on long, fine hair? I would probably hit it with a curling iron so that you get more intense type of heat. But then after I hit it with a curling iron, let's say I took a curling iron to this section here. So after I did that, what I would do, or let me give you something here, like this, what I would do is I'd come back in, I'd roll this back up with a barrel curl, And hopefully you're learning that. And then I would come in and I would clip that. And the reason I want to do that, clip as I go, is because I get more cooling. You're going to get much more of a stronger hold. The sooner you start to stretch, the sooner you start to rake, the sooner you start to brush, you're going to start to really expand it, okay? How do I make the style not go flat? Okay, we answered that. Right hand for us crazy left. Yes, Jennifer, you're absolutely right. I didn't realize you were left-handed. Yeah, both hands. I'm telling you, it's a lifesaver. All right, now let's come through. Let's just start to take this and just brush it out. And then I'm going to show you some tricks on this too. Okay, first thing I like to do is I would always ask the client, take your head back like this. Okay, pretend she's in the chair and she does that. And I come through with hairspray. Okay. And that's even before I've released this side that I dried here. See, I haven't released those yet. Okay, so I'll hit it with hairspray. And notice how far away I am. I love using the can to determine how far I spray it. Why do I do that? I teach the clients that because a lot of times they'll put so much spray, they're so close, it's so wet. Then they're complaining they can't get their hands through it and they're wondering why. I got to tell you, students, communication skills is what's going to build your wealth. But not only that, remember this, communication will build your health. Make sure you communicate with these clients in a very honest, professional way. Now I'm coming through on this side with my hands. Okay, and then watch what I'm going to do to the fringe. Just kind of show you some tricks with that. And now look at how my blow dry, how it just kind of seamlessly kind of falls together. Okay, see that? See how it just flows into that back? Okay, same thing on this side. This is the side that I previously did. Okay, now let's talk about the fringe. Okay, now watch what I'm going to do. Okay, I'm going to come through with a round brush. Let's use a boar bristle brush this time. Okay, and I'm going to come through. When I work with my curtains, there's a couple ways you can do it. You can come through and you can blow dry these under this way. They can blow dry it under. Now look where the nozzle's at. Way over here. It's not here. If the nozzle is here, look at the way I'm going to position it. And I'm going to walk around it. See that? So once again, you can see I'm going with that cuticle. Okay? Now watch what I'm doing. Now I'm going to come through and I'm just going to roll. And all I want is bend on this. I want bevel. So I just roll that. Okay? Now, see the bend I got in that? That's important. What you need to know is this. If you bend something under, then when you go to brush this back, it will kick the opposite way. Look how that kicks the opposite way. Oops, yeah, this side. Okay, see that? But it was blow dried under, but it kicks the opposite way. So now watch how I'll get more of that kind of feel there. So you get this. Okay, so real simple in terms of doing that and doing those types of things. The other thing I've been doing is coming through, lift this up. Watch, lift this up here. Take a clip, come right into that center, and just do this. Okay, now I'll come through with hairspray, hit that, and then I'll come back through with a dryer with my fingers and just kind of diffuse that. Now watch how I'm going to get just a little bit more pop to that. Okay, when I release that, now I'm just going to get much more pop to that. And I just love how it can just do, a lot of different things. But see, I just got more pop to that in that front area there. Okay, so just some really cool things that you could do there. Let's talk about some other types of brushes. Okay, and one of the ones that I happen to love is a 9-row polishing brush, or some people refer to as a Deadman. Okay, that's what this is. Okay, I love using this for polishing. I love using it on my bobs, on my shorter hair, and it gives me a lot more kind of polish to it. Let me get some questions. What about on someone who has a very sensitive scalp? How would you adapt to the sensitivity? Olivia, that's why you practice. You develop your touch. That's a great question because you want to find out, is your scalp sensitive? Yes, it is. Then you better be careful with that brush. So practice, 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 because it's going to be about your touch. With your touch from brush to scalp, how are you working? How much tension are you applying? So that comes with practice, my dear. Why do you have them tilt their head back for hairspray? The reason I do that, Molly, is because I tilt it back because I'm taking it against the grain, the way it's going to fall. So that way I get more fullness. So I just have them, have you ever heard everybody turn your head upside down, spray it. Then when they come back up, it's much more full. It's the same reason why I would tilt it back rather than just tilting it over. I noticed the brush getting stuck a lot from the product. How do we avoid it? For me, stayed by Sarita. That was me not detangling it prior. So I should detangle that prior and make sure I've got it clean all the way through, especially when it was getting longer towards the bottom. So be aware of that. Okay. Now, if you feel, well, that Sam, it's a little bit still tangled, then just step back, mist it. And I would suggest using a mister. See that? That's a mister. Use that because you don't want to get the section soaking wet. All you want to do is give it a little more damp so the brush can glide through it. All right. I'm going to teach you a technique that's called leafing. Okay. It's really a technique that's great for your bobs. And I'm going to show you some things in regards to how to work with a vent to get a little bit more volume out of things. Okay. Now watch what I'm going to do. Watch how I'll comb this, brush this diagonally forward. Okay. Let me give you a little bit more practice. There we go. Okay. And then watch my dryer. Okay. Look at the dryer. Look at the nozzle. Watch me set where my arm should be. I'm going to bring it lower. Why? Because I don't want to raise my arm so high. Okay. So get these people in an uncomfortable position before you put yourself in an uncomfortable position. Now watch the dryer. See that? My elbow's floating. I want my elbow up against my body. So look, the nozzle's in the perfect position. So I'm going to go here. See, I just held that. It allowed me to get my elbow down. Now I'm going to come through and watch how I'll leaf. I leaf and watch me follow. Look how I'm following that brush. Okay, same section. See, I got a section there. I leaf. Same section. I leaf. Look how I come in diagonal. I leaf. See, that picked up the leaves. That picked up the hair. Now I follow through. Look at the bevel I'm getting. See that? Leaf. Follow. Leaf. Follow. Okay. Look, watch how I'll take a section. Take a slice. There's my slice. There it is there. Okay. Leaf. Follow. And I want you to notice how I'm not working fast. This is what I mean by slow down to speed up. By slowing down like this is going to give me the focus and concentration of heat that I need for that section. See that? Look how I pick it up. Look how I slide down, pick up, leaf, follow. Slide down, pick up. Notice, if you'll notice, when I do this, the hair is bent. See how it's bent? Now watch. Let me see if I can get closer. Okay, now watch. Here, see how it's bent? See how it's bent in there? Now watch. Consistent flow. And now I get the bevel. Watch how I'm going to get a bevel. Look how controlled I am. Look at that. Look at the hair in that brush. Watch me get a bevel. Watch. Look how I just come here, down, and lift. Look how I'll just come down and lift. Now watch the volume and the bend I'm going to get just at the ends by just doing that. Look at that. Okay, now watch. Here's a great way to get a nice, strong bevel. Once I've got that all dried, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a section. I like doing this to the top section of a bob. I'll come in, place the 9 roll right in. Watch how I'll bring my thumb in. My index finger and my thumb. See, my index finger's underneath. It's captured the hair, the thumb on top. Now watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to apply my heat right there. That's right where I want the shine line, the bevel. Okay, and I'll do this on my 1-length bobs. Once I'm here, I come through, I grab it, both hands, allow it to cool and release. Now look at the volume and the shine I got out of that. See the shine line? You can see the shine line right there. Okay, that's working with a Denman. Just a great way to work with a Denman. Now watch how I'm going to get volume here, lift this up, and I want that to move over to the opposite side. I'm going to give it a little bit moisture. Okay, And I'm going to use a Denman brush. And my goal is to get this just to lift up. That's all I want that to do is lift up. So I'm going to come through and lift and lift. Look at the action of the vent brush. I'm going to do this. Okay. I'm going to do that. Okay. So let's go through. Watch how, look how I'm just going through. I lift and look, see this, the vent, look how the dryer goes through the vent. So it passes through to the other side. Okay. And once I just got this just picked up, and it's drying right behind it. Right behind it. Watch me leaf and pick. Look at leaf and pick. Leaf and pick. Leaf and pick. Leaf and pick. Okay, see, I move back, forward, move back, forward, move back, forward. See, that's starting to give me my lift. Move back and forward. Now watch, I'm going to start to give it a wave pattern. Okay, I'm going to bring it up a little bit so you can see. There we go. Okay, watch. Look at the angle of the brush. See, I'm lifting up. The highest point is where I want to lift, right up here. Okay. Now watch the crease I'm going to put in. See that crease? I'm just putting that crease right there. This is why I love a vent brush. Look at the volume. Okay. And that is a vent brush. But I love it in terms of, getting volume. Let's switch out and let's go back here. Okay. Watch me get more volume here with a vent brush. And once again, because it just goes through the air of the vent, watch. I have to get a little bit of mist. Remember what I talk about. You want to change the direction. You need a little bit of a mist on that. And now watch how much easier it's going to be to shift out. Look, see, I slide back, I slide forward. Now watch what I'm going to do. Once I'm here, watch me start to shift. I'm going to start working this one over to this side. Look and see the angle once again. And I just love how full you can make something in just a matter of moments working with a vent brush. But it's just about understanding your tools, understanding the fabric that you're working with, and how to work with that, I think, is so important. I really hope you learned a lot today, guys. I just really hope that you understand that these principles right here that I shared with you today are so, so critical.